What's up, nerds? Good morning. Happy Labor Day. End of summer. It is 8:30 in the morning on the 4th day of September in the year of our Lord, John Cena. Dun, 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 dun. And I am the OGGM. We had a lot of pro wrestling over the weekend, including the firing of CM Punk. Wow. And the return of John Cena. So, it is bright and sunny and muggy here at Site B. It is time to take a look at all the tabletop role-playing game freebies, sales, and charity. Bundles. Yes, bundles. Which means, as always, one, these are PDFs. Unless I specifically say otherwise, these will be PDFs, digital product. Therefore, do not get upset when you download the digital product and it doesn't come with dice. What? Two, because these are digital products, whenever you download any of these, please, for the love of John Cena, check them for viruses and malwares. It only takes you a couple extra seconds and it can save you a huge heartbreaks. Because it happened to me twice, as you know. And three, in regards to the charity bundles, unless it's a charity you really buy me a bundle you really think you need, maybe just give to the charities directly, especially for the ones where, like, help somebody with cancer or whatever. Okay, let's take a look at what's going on. We got a couple that are interesting this week. Surprisingly, not as many Halloween themed as I thought we would have expected, but we'll see as we get things. All right, so if you can tell by the picture right now, yes, there is a free version of Cities Without Numbers up on Drive-Thru. The 227-page rulebook includes the full rules for the cyberpunk version of Worlds Without Numbers. So if you are a fan of the World Without Numbers, Stars Without Numbers series and never got a chance to pick those up, hey, here's a free version on Drive-Thru. Yeah, and speaking of free versions, did you know 4th edition is now officially considered part of the OSR? Yes, that's right. And which means we now are starting to see some OSR 4E products. Now, if you look at the OSR and the 700 plus titles that are available for the OSR, you'll notice very few, if any, have touched on 4th edition Dungeons & Dragons. Because 4th edition Dungeons & Dragons fell in this weird little kind of gap where all the other you could use it stuff that the OGL covered didn't cover. So unlike 3.5 and 5, where everybody and their dog has made content, you saw a very little third-party content in the States for 4th edition. Well, recently that has ended. Whatever the weird legal loophole that 4E fell in is now ended, which means now if you want to create product for 4th edition D&D under the SRD open source, you can. And we have the very first one that I'm aware of. There probably are others. This comes from Ludo's game. It is called the Orcus Heroes. Orcus Heroes comes with a handbook and a game master's guide. Both are free on Drive-Thru. They are compatible with the OGL currently, and they are basically a OSR version of 4th edition Dungeons & Dragons, which I actually enjoyed 4th edition Dungeons & Dragons. I mean, it wasn't D&D. It was Eberron, the role-playing game, which is what it always should have been. But other than that, yeah, it was a good system that never really got what it should have gotten because of everything that was associated with it. But that's the topic of a separate vlog, which I hopefully never have to do again because I've done that vlog like 87 times. Speaking of 87 times, we have a new product from Monty Cook. He has released the free premiere for his new book called The Magnus Archive. The Magnus Archive is based upon a podcast series, and it uses the Cypher system to create a urban horror, urban weirdness role-playing game. So I guess it's sort of Tales from Night Vale, X-Files, Stranger Things type thing. What's going on in that creepy house next door? Pull back the veils to see the secret world. Because, yeah, we always need another one of those. So, yes, another Monty Cook product, currently free. So yeah, if you're looking for a cipher system urban horror type game, there you go. If you're looking for a 4E retro clone, it's available now from Oak. And if you'd love to get a free version of Cities Without Number, that's also available on drive-thru. We have some Traveler from John Garham, not the actor, called Blockade Runner, which is a series of adventures that you can do in Traveler type space. We have the Unity of Skullvan from Logbook Projects. It is an unofficial collection of Blades in the Dark that explores the aftermath of the Unity War. The Unity War is a series of events that takes place in the Blades in the Dark setting. We have Nicole's Magical Mercantile has released something called Assault on the Clagden Keep. It's a 5th level adventure about a bunch of adventurers going into a keep to assassinate someone, because nothing says heroes like assassination. We have got Fists of the Ruby Phoenix Adventure Path. We've got an expansion for that. Fists of the Ruby Phoenix Adventure Path is an AP for Pathfinder. Sam Stryker has released a free upgrade expansion for it. I guess that was a martial arts theme. I mean, with a name like Fists of the Ruby Phoenix, it definitely sounds like a fighting game. So I'm assuming that was a martial arts themed Pathfinder AP. This guy's released some extra love for it, and it's free. Zyptotic Press has released a cosmic horror adventure called Trouble with the Piping, where you play supernatural investigators who have found a deal on real estate. So they're going to go buy the real estate, but they discover that there's something going on in the real estate. Down, 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 down. We've got some new artifacts for 5e, because apparently somebody thought there weren't enough. This comes to us from Foster Cromwell, and it's called the Weapons Set of Carnix. It includes a full set of legendary weapons on DM's Guild. We've got a collection of new spells on DM's Guild from Zapla. This is called Bedello's Insensuous Spellbook. Insensuous? Are you sure that's a word you want to use, Zapple? This includes 20 new spells for 5th edition. Zachariah brings us a new setting for 5th edition. This one is called Ironwood Burg, a village perched on the edge of the untamed coastline. Ironwood Burg. Really? Is that serious or are you trying to be silly? I can't tell. But let's face it, there are some weird city names out there. So Ironwood Burg isn't that unusual. So it's a new setting, and it's somewhere on a coastline. So think Crescent City, I guess, or Maine. Timothy Lopez released some more artifacts for 5e. This one is called Artifacts of Antiquity Volume 3, which includes a whole bunch of new magic items for 5th edition. Seb Melanzo has released a 5th adventure, 5e adventure called the Chronomancerous Hourglass, where the players are set time twist. No. What are the 5? If there are cardinal rules of fiction, time travel, no. From Betsy Birkenoff, we have a 1st level adventure called The Witch and the Vampire, where you, as a bunch of 1st level characters, have to go up against a coven of vampires. Not just one vampire spawn, who might be a 3-hit die monster, but a coven of vampires. Now, in any other game, throwing a bunch of 1st level characters against one vampire, much less a coven, would be paramount to just, you're vampires, you're already dead, just, But because it's 5e, and your average 5e 1st level character adventurer is the equivalent to a special forces, a party of 4 to 6 might be able to cakewalk a vampire or two. I don't know. We got a free battle map from Escato RPG. This is called Forest Corridor, and it's a VTT battle map of a forest. I'm pretty sure all the VTTs come with generic forest maps, don't they? You would think they would, but I don't know. Maybe they don't. Then we've got another battle map from Planlink Editions. This one's called Botanical Park, and it's a VTT battle map of a park. We've got some papercraft for those of you who have the time and energy and a printer and want to print out the little teeny paper diagrams and put them together. We've got tombstones, a selection of miniatures for tombstone that you can make out of computer paper. Dude, I could do those for free. I don't need to download it. You just take some paper, you cut it in a little, the tombstone shape, and you tape a little other piece of paper to the back in a little angle so it doesn't fall over. Bam, tombstone. I used to make these all the time. We've got a one-shot for Vampire the Masquerade over at Storyteller's Vault called... Doesn't have a name. And then we've got lightning round. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 new background / subclasses. And 1, 2, 3, 4 new monsters for 5th edition, all available on the DM's Guild in the free section. Moving on to sales. Onyx Path is doing a sale for their Imperium setting. Imperium is one of the settings for the Scion role-playing game. It is ancient Rome themed. So we have a whole bunch of ancient Rome themed stuff, expansion books for the Scion setting, all dealing with ancient Rome, the Titans, the descendants of the gods from ancient Rome, how ancient Rome affects modern day world. What would you do if there were descendants of ancient Roman gods, and how would those descendants interact with the descendants of, say, the Greek gods? Because, that's a thing. Chaos Jen has collected several random tables into one bundle. So if you're having trouble finding random tables for free, you can give this guy $4 and he'll send you a book filled with random tables. Theodore has given us 2 high-level adventures for $9. We've got 2 20th level adventures for 5e, which is sort of an oxymoron, considering your average 8th level character can take out 100 hit point, 200 hit point monster in 2 rounds. Do I really need a 20 hit die monster? We've got a sci-fi bundle from... Doesn't say, but this includes a whole bunch of different weapons that could be considered sci-fi-y, and a whole bunch of different monsters that could be considered sci-fi-y. It's $30, and it's available, I'm going to say, on drive-thru. And it is called the Sci-Fi and Futuristic Bundle. And that's it. Okay. It's got just some pictures of weapons, and then, it tells you what the weapon does. We've got a Roll20 Call of Cthulhu bundle. This comes with a whole bunch of different Call of Cthulhu stuff. We've got the Call of Cthulhu starter set, the Call of Cthulhu Investigator Handbook, the Call of Cthulhu Keeper Handbook. These are all pretty pricey for VTT. You see, these are all VTTs, but they also come with the PDF, so I guess that explains why they're a little pricier. All of them running anywhere from $70 to $30. So yes, if you're using a VTT and you want to have Call of Cthulhu being one of the games you can play on said VTT, and you want to also get a PDF, you could go to this sale, which is on drive-thru. Say you want the Investigator's Handbook, you click that, you install it, check it for viruses. Then you'll be able to use the Call of Cthulhu Investigator's Handbook in your VTT games of Call of Cthulhu, and you also get a PDF for free for $60. That makes sense, right? Margaret Baker, who is one of the designers of Apocalypse World, one of the luminaries in the world of independent role-playing game, has been diagnosed with breast cancer and has surgery scheduled for the end of this month. There is a fundraiser currently being put together to help the family with household expenses, meals, and of course the cost of breast cancer surgery. So this is a direct charity. You just go to the link of Margaret Baker's site. It's like a GoFundMe, and you can donate as much or as little as you want to help her family deal with the physical and financial stress of dealing with breast cancer. John Kolvik is doing his yearly bike ride for charity. He's the writer-artist of Dork Terror. He's got a whole bunch of different things you can get depending on how much money you want to spend. The bare minimum is $35, but you can donate all the way up to $400. And then for, depending on which tier you donate to, you will get sent goodies in exchange, like Dark Tower cards or Munchkin cards or graphic novels, stuff like that. Sleepy Sasquatch Games is continuing its fundraiser for poor Gizmo, the dog with the oncoming medical conditions. If you want to help poor Gizmo deal with his vet bills, it's $19. You get a whole bunch of different stuff that Sleepy Sasquatch Games has made, and you get to help a dog maybe enjoy another year or two of life, which is always a good thing. Let's see. We have a Atomic Robo Bundle. This one from Evil Hat. So this is a whole bunch of collection of the Atomic Robo comic books, plus the Atomic Robo role-playing game, and the Atomic Robo manuals, and a soundtrack. So if you're not familiar with Atomic Robo, it was a sci-fi steampunk-inspired comic that ran for a while, and then it's had a whole bunch of stuff inspired by it, like a short-lived role-playing game and some other of. This is $13, and it goes to support charity relief. So yeah, we've got the Shadow of the Demon Lord and the Shadow of the Demon Lord Legacy bundles, both available from Bundle of Holding. The Shadow of the Demon Lord bundle is $8. All the donations go to wildlife conservation charities, and it includes everything you need to play Shadow of the Demon Lord. If you've never heard of Shadow of the Demon Lord, a lot of people say Shadow Day of the Demon Lord is a better version of 5th edition. So for $8, you can get all the source books and help support wildlife charities. And for another $13, you can get all the supplements, 21 different supplements that were made for Shadow of the Demon Lord over the past 14 years. We got a Dungeon Crawl Classic Mega Bundle with over 75 DCC products valued at over $1,000. $25 is the most popular pledge. Gets you a whole bunch of stuff, plus some actual physical one, if you pay for the magical plays. It goes to support food banks in the area. So yeah, if you guys aren't aware, DCC is my favorite retro clone of all time. And there we go. Cunt shot Texas. Yep, okay. Not touching that one, Mr. Ogre, sir. And that's it for the charities and the freebies. No sales this week, just the charities and the freebies. Interesting. I thought we'd have a few more holiday theme, but we don't. Obviously, I am interested to check out the what was it? Oh yeah, the free OSR 4th edition and the free Cities Without Numbers. I highly recommend both. Well, I highly recommend the Cities Without Numbers. Curiosity, I just want to check out the OSR version of 4E from Ludo's Games. As far as I know, this is the first one. No, wait, I think there's one more. I have to go back and check the list of all the OSR OGL retro clones that have been made, which I think is up to like 5,700. I don't know. There's so many of these stupid things that have been made. But as far as I know, this is one of the first, if not the first, that has been able to do 4th edition. So yes, once again, I guess the little teeny legal loophole that 4E fell in that allowed Wizards of the Coast to say, no, you can't make clones of our game, has now been destroyed because of the whole OGL, OSR, SRD 7.1 Creative Commons thing from January. So now if you really, 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 really want to make a 4th edition retro clone and give 4E the love it never got, now's your chance. What better way to end that than little love for 4th edition? Little engine that could. You've all heard my theory about 4E before. I've made at least 9 videos about it. So I'll say it again. In case there's one of you out there who haven't heard it. If I was Wizards of the Coast and I was going to release a brand new edition that was completely different than 3.5, I would have experimented with a different game first to see if people were interested in that system. And Wizards of the Coast had the Eberron license. It was still a relatively new license. It had only been about, 4 or 5 years that they had Eberron, which in D&D terms is still relatively new. They could have re-released Eberron under this new system and called it the Eberron role-playing game. And then for a year, just supported that with a smattering of 3.5 stuff. But really just said, we're focusing on this Eberron game for a year because this Keith Baker guy won this contest. Here we go. But damn. Then at the end of the year, you do a survey. Hey, you had a year to play around with this Eberron role-playing game. What did you think about it? And if enough people say, wow, I really like this system, they could have said, great, we're going to do 4th edition Dungeons & Dragons, and we're going to use that system. On the other hand, if tons of people went, wow, no, I really hate this system, they could go, thank you for your input. We're going to try something else, but we're still thinking about 4th edition. Which is what it should have been. But it wasn't. And so 4E happened the way it happened. And we all know that the 4th edition short-lived lifespan was a disaster from beginning to end. Literally, if you want a master class in how not to run a business / introduce a new product, just look at the history of 4th edition from day one to the day they stopped producing it. Every single solitary choice they made regarding 4th edition was horrible. At least in my humble opinion. But what do I know? I'm an idiot. I'll talk to you all later. See ya. Stay safe.